I want to go to the telephone now, and joining us on the line is head coach for the Appalachian Eagles, and that's Coach Neal Whittington. Good evening, Coach. Welcome into Scoreboard, and big win for your football team tonight over Spring Garden. I heard it was a very hard-fought game down at Appalachian tonight.
Hey, it was. We had a war going on up here. Coach Ragsdale brought in kids, played really physical. A hard-fought game.
Well, Coach, that's the way your team also plays, a physical football game. You like to line up and run the football, and I understand it was a close game, maybe 8-8 at halftime, and sounds like you kind of controlled the game in the second half.
Yeah, we went in at the half. They was up on us 8-6, and
okay.
Like I said, we challenged the guys to come out and play hard and not feed into any of the antics and just play their game and be physical and just take the fight to them. And the guys responded well. And like I said, we couldn't ask anything better from our guys. I mean, it was a great team win. Any of the guys, we had to pull off the sidelines, to go in, and they just all responded good. And I couldn't be more proud of my guys.
Coach, I know this is a big win for you against Spring Garden. They've been a tough opponent in 1A for several years now. You had them at their place tonight, or at your place tonight, and getting that win on that's just a huge region win for you this evening to go to 3-0 in region play.
It is. Like I said, Spring Garden's that team that in any sport you look at across the board, they've been in that top group for years, and to have a chance to beat them, that says a lot for a football program. It says a lot for young men, and because like I said, Spring Garden has been one of those teams that a lot of the 1A teams have looked up to for years and kind of chased them. And like I said, we were fortunate enough tonight to be able to get that win.
Well, Coach Whittington, this is Phil Harris. Of course, you've been coach for many years. It gets to the second half of the season. Of course, everybody's all pumped up and ready to play each Friday night. But starting the second half of the season, things kind of change a little bit. The weather cools off. The guys settle in. You start getting beat up a little bit, and it becomes a war of attrition. So these kind of games are really tough.
It is. Like I said, just at this point in time, because our bye week's week 10, so we don't get that week to rest up a little and heal some wounds. And like I said, getting now it's just beat up and beat on, and like we tell our kids, every Monday it's a work day, so they get Saturday and Sunday to lick their wounds and be ready to go again on Monday.
Well, Coach, I know you're in kind of a different world now. A lot of times teams have been chasing your Spring Gardens. Well, now all of a sudden the hat goes on different. Now everybody's going to be after Appalachian. How do you caution your guys, because you become the hunted now? Everybody's going to be after you because you can't get complacent because everybody's after you now.
Well, we tell our guys that the outlook we want them to take is each week we need to go 1-0. We try to keep them as humble as possible. We just don't let them get, their heads get blowed up, and remind them, because early on the guys was like, we want to go 10-0. Appalachian's never been 10-0, and we told them, so guys, to do that, you got to be 1-0, and then 2-0, so on and so forth. And tonight we made it to 7-0, and we just keep telling them, you got to keep your feet on the ground. You got to keep your eyes on the prize. We got to get to the finish line, because if you have 1 week where you go 0-1, then that 10-0 goal you had is out the window.
Well, Coach, I know the goal is 10-0. You come in with a very experienced football team this year coming into the season. Would you talk about some of the leaders on your football team tonight?
We, like I said, at halftime we was down 2, and we had our offensive line stand up. Coach Beard called them out and challenged them, and Eli Beard, he's kind of he's our war daddy. I mean, he's the guy that goes anytime we need him to go, and like I said, we challenged them, and he turned around and challenged them again at halftime when we was getting ready to come out from halftime, and like I said, then after the game, he took the spot to step up after coaches had said their piece and address the team. And can't say enough about the leadership that young man brings to us. And like I said, him, but like I said, our entire offensive line really stepped up tonight and cleared some holes and did good things and really played their tails off.
Coach, 20-8 win tonight over Spring Garden. Next week you go on the road to Ragland. Then you got a tough Woodville team coming in there in week 8, and you round it out with Valley Head. So it's not going to get any easier as you're 7-0. And as Phil said, everybody's shooting for you now. You're at the top of the region.
Well, like I said, those three teams you knocked off. Woodville hadn't had a football team, I think, 20 years now, and Coach Poole's doing a phenomenal job with those young men up there. And then you look at Ragland and you look at Valley Head, and just through the years, yeah, those are some of the teams that's always kind of been up there with the Spring Gardens. They're those teams that the rest of us have always chased. And so it's not going to get easier for us. Year in, year out, those teams, Spring Garden, Ragland, Valley Head, the Coach Poole, what he's doing now at Woodville. I mean, those are going to be top tier teams, and like I said, it's just we got to keep our guys understanding that you can't take anybody for granted any time. And like I said, chasing some of those guys for as long as we've been here, it does feel good to kind of be in that breath with them. And so, like I said, we just got to keep our feet on the ground and stay pushing forward.
Well, congratulations, Coach, to the team and the staff tonight on the big win at home, 20-8 over Spring Garden. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us tonight on the Scoreboard Show.
All right, and hey, we'll be looking for that team of the week.
All right, Coach, you're in the running. All right.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. That's Coach Whittington.